All right, before we start today's episode, we just wanted to give a quick shout out to the patrons over there on Patreon. We have 3 at the VIP all-inclusive level, and those ones, they're the ones helping keep this thing turning and burning. So we wanted to give a quick shout out to Eric Sari, Andy Herbrand, and Lauren L. Thank you so much.
Eric, cue up that music.
Hey, welcome to the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Sturgeon.
And I'm Russell Sari.
This podcast is about all things Wisconsin, history, music, culture, and beer. Although we don't often use strong language, the content is not intended for young audiences, so listener discretion is advised.
If you love the bluegrass music you hear in this intro, please check out Dang It's from Madison, Wisconsin by visiting their website, dang-its.com. Now on to the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. This is your weekly dose of the Dairy State, and honestly, we're just happy to still be around.
Yeah, we're still kicking right now. We're still doing this shit.
I am one of your hosts, of course, Eric,
and I'm Russ.
And, before we get, to jump right into the main segment today, we did just want to at least let you know that all your reviews and all your likes and your rates and all that stuff have really, really helped. We've been really enjoying receiving the different private messages and emails from you suggesting different bands and different articles as well. So, keep doing what you're doing. The next thing that you could possibly do, word of mouth, get it into the hands of friends and family. So today we have a really, really cool episode for you. We're talking about a record company that used to exist in our state. This is Port Washington's record company, Paramount Records. Really, really cool history on this. We're also going to be featuring great Wisconsin music from Devin Huckstep. We have another brew review, of course. And, of course, how many locals you at? And we also have a really cool interview with Three Sheeps Brewing.
I've been anticipating this for a long time. I love Three Sheeps, to be honest with you. Fresh Coast. Holy smokes.
Absolutely. One of the just go-to beers that's, it can never fail you.
Right. I
love the can, that blue. It's just beautiful. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right in? As we say most times, go ahead and visit our website, wisconsindrunkenhistory.com. You can get the complete scope of what we offer. So let's go ahead and jump in. Paramount Records.
Yeah, so Paramount Records. This was a hidden gem, actually, that I found. And I found just one article, just one brief article, and so I had to dig in, like I usually do. I had to really research this thing. And as music lovers, and specifically old-timey music, I love old blues music. It was cool to find out about Paramount Records from Port Washington, Wisconsin, and it was just awesome. So Paramount Records was founded in 1917 by the United Phonographs, which was a subsidiary of the Wisconsin Chair Company, along with another record label called Puritan, which did not last and was shut down in 1927. However, Paramount would continue. You may be asking yourself, Wisconsin Chair Company, recording music? What the heck? But the company was more for furnishings, including phonographs, as well as furniture and chairs, right?
Yeah.
So this was like a normal fixture of the home, so they did sell phonographs. And this line of phonographs did not last long and failed commercially due to all the brands out there at the time, including the large company, which was the Edison brand, which is the Crank. We all know the Edison.
Everybody, you've seen. Isn't that on the RCA records for the longest time?
Yeah, a lot of times you're going to see the Edison name. And originally, due to the low budget in the studio, the original recordings were lower than average quality. They were coated in shellac, which was also just above average quality, right? I mean, these are like you're spreading it on there and you're recording your music right onto that, like the vibrational.
Yep.
And it became not very profitable. And in beginning around the 1920s, to make up for some of the losses, they pressed average quality albums for other labels just to pay for the bills, right? So they had like these bigger labels coming to them to make them help them print, just to have like a lower end, cheaper record out there. So I can't buy the top notch one at the time, but hey, I can get this one for Paramount for a little bit cheaper.
Right, exactly. Yep.
And what made them really take off was pairing up with Black Swan and pressing albums for them and eventually buying the Black Swan label. The things about these companies is that they would feature African-American artists, and so-called race records, though lucrative business at the time, would ultimately become the label's success. And a small side story is me growing up, I loved my grandma. She was one of my huge influences on me, June. She grew up in this time period. And she actually listened to like Nat King Cole in these race records. And
right.
Which was like rebellious at the time. And it was like, in the 60s when our parents listened to the Beatles. It's just they viewed them as rebellious and different from the average. And
it was seen as like the devil's music. Why would you listen to that? It's rock and roll and it's garbage, But this is an even bigger story, though, that I'm super proud to have as part of our state, where some of these other recording companies wouldn't allow African-American artists, to even press a record or to record. Whereas, hey, you know what? We're going to find some of the best musicians despite color and disregard all of that. Their talent is top notch, and we're gonna be the exclusive, recording company for them.
I mean, as someone who loves, blues and Delta blues music, it's crazy that they call them race records. It's just fucking dope ass blues, right?
Yeah.
It's just dope ass music. It was good for the time.
I think at the time, that was an okay terminology to use and a phrase to use.
It was normal.
Well, of course. I mean, the time, the segregation and all this other stuff that's happening, it fit. Now you and I just sit here and think, and maybe that's why things are the way they are, but you and I, we just really enjoy the music and think, hey man, wasn't it awesome that during this time artists were moving from the South, Louisiana area and stuff like that, and traveling to Chicago, which had this big booming blues and jazz scene, which really helped influence a lot of individuals, a lot.
And things are just, completely politically incorrect at this time. I mean, if you ever want to dig into a really messed up history, look up the candy brand Sugar Babies and see what they used to be called. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Holy smokes. Things were different, right?
Yuck.
And so, the good thing about these musics, they inspired a lot of our heroes, like the Delta Blues, and the blues inspired heroes of ours like the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, and the Beatles, just to name a few, right? Yep. I mean, these guys always worship and talk about these blues.
100%.
And it is estimated that a quarter of all the race records between 1922 and 1932 were all being put out by the Port Washington studio right here in our state. And one breakout artist would be a vaudeville blues song in 1922 by Lucille Hegeman and Alberta Hunter. This put them on the map and really drove them to become top of the industry at the time for race records. And the Paramount was also one of the first companies to start mail order in 1922, which helped them distribute the music far and wide and was featured in major catalogs of the time, including Sears and Roebuck, which was huge at this time in the 30s, 20s. I mean, that's massive, right?
What did we discover that Sears and Roebuck used to be called?
Rears and Sore Butts.
Yeah, Rears and Sore Butts.
And we really owe a majority of the company's success to black entrepreneur J. Mayo Williams, also known as Ink Williams. And he did not have an official job with Paramount. However, he was one of the main supporters that would go around state and find talent to come and record at the studio.
Recruiter.
Yeah, he's basically a music recruiter.
Somebody has to do it. You've got to go to these small clubs and cafes where it's happening, where the artists are out there just grinding, doing what they love.
Exactly.
And then you have this recruiter go out there in order to discover that fresh talent, get them into the recording studio, so that way you can, eventually become, lucrative off of their fruits,
Right, and you need to have that person willing to go out there and just have that enthusiasm to get people to come into your studio, right, at this time?
Yeah.
And there were always ongoing issues with some of the quality of the pressage, which did cause some artists like Blind Lemon Jefferson, who ended up re-recording Got the Blues and Long Lonesome Blues at a much more superior facility. Ink Williams, who was the major finder of talent, also thought that the quality would soon move from Paramount to OK, and this took a ton of major artists along with him, becoming one of the devastating blows to the company in 1926. William placed responsibility to his then secretary, Aletha Dickerson, who was completely blindsided by her leaving of her boss, right? He was like the main guy there, and he's like, I'm out because your quality sucks. Fuck.
Yeah.
And the company was
That's
moved
tough.
to Grafton, Wisconsin from Port Washington, where its final days would come to be. It was 1931 when Aletha fell on hardship herself with the label, as her wages were being cut and management was just not treating her right. And the final blow to the company, as many of these recording labels, was the Great Depression, which would hit the entire U.S. With all of these blows, they stopped recording completely in 1932 and in 1935 would shut its doors. To make money, they would scrap all the metal from the master recordings to make back some of its money. Some of the recordings were said to have been tossed into the Milwaukee River by disgruntled employees to keep company from making money. And you know what? There was even a show on PBS in 2006 called History's Detectives where divers actually went down to look for some of these old recordings and pressings, which is pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't actually find anything. However, in 1948, the label would start up again, thanks to John Steiner, who would offer up some reissues of the recordings, and he would eventually also release these recordings on newly found Riverside Jazz label in 1952. And what I find sad is like all these steel presses will never ever be replicated or duplicated again. You can never hear these songs again.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping someday, maybe some of the divers will be able to dig up some of these pressings and at least
And hope
digitally
that
have
maybe
them.
the lake preserved something.
And it's crazy. There's so many. It's just a sad story. And to be honest, you're not going to hear this stuff again. And the good thing is, one good thing on top of this though is one of the last note I want to say is White Stripes Jack White did find some of these recordings, right? And he remastered them and re-released them, which is awesome. It's early blues in the U.S.
He has his own record store that you can actually physically go visit, and I believe it's in Nashville. I could be wrong, but anyway, Jack White is absolutely one of those historians of music. He loves it, and he's doing his best to preserve it. He actually will press all these old records like you're talking about, the ones that they have rediscovered, or just old ones that haven't been talked about or listened to in forever, and he sells them at his shop as well.
And just think, all this stuff came right in our backyard in Port Washington, Wisconsin. Yeah. And if you're a record collector or like a record nerd, if you have any Paramount Records, send us a picture. We'd love to see them. It's so rare to find them.
Especially dating back to the 30s and 20s. That would be awesome.
It'd be just cool to see the record itself, or even if you could send us a play, we'd love to hear it,
Yeah.
But again, that was our main segment on the Paramount Records, kind of a more obscure record company in Wisconsin.
And what I wanted to say too is, just as a sort of like a related side note, and I know we'll probably do an episode on this down the line, but Wisconsin has had its hand in recording music for a long time, and back in the 80s and 90s, and maybe even a little later than that, a person by the name of Butch Vig,
of course,
had a studio in Madison called Smart Studio, and the original recordings of Nirvana's Nevermind were recorded right there in Madison, Wisconsin. Which was crazy, right? To think of an iconic album such as Nevermind to be started, and you can still hear some of the what they're now calling like demo sessions before they actually moved to record that elsewhere. And I think Nevermind was actually recorded in California at Sound City. But like I said, we'll probably do an episode all about Butch Vig and Smart Studios itself.
Of course,
the recording industry in Wisconsin is no new thing. All right, so our music segment today, we are featuring an artist by the name of Devin Huckstep, originally from the village of Heartland, Wisconsin. Got started in music really young. I think 9 years old. Multi-instrumentalist, really, really good vocalist. I mean, gosh, you're going to notice right off the bat on this track, a lot of good influences that you can tell, probably definitely in that blues jazz range.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, indie blues.
Yep, and he puts that indie rock flair, like you said, yeah. And then his vocal talent, his vocal abilities are just top notch. I mean, fuck, neither one of us can sing worth a shit. And this guy just blows us out of the water.
Yeah, and we're proud to present it. Again, this is Devin Huckstep, Go Sailor.
over, the girl who spent the night on the floor. And with your vision still blurry from the night before, you scream out to no one, I can't do this anymore. Like a ghost sailor, you disappear into the night, and I don't blame you. What he did just wasn't right, and he's gonna pay the price once that bridge is crossed. Cause you don't mess with come off, it's a bigger fish you caught. Kick him out to the curb if you know it's your worth. It's better than nothing. Through passion or pain, through heaven or hurt, you gotta do something, you gotta start somewhere. Would you take me there with you? Even though I'll never know what you've been through, who you fought hands bare, who you ripped and tore. But you don't do that anymore. You don't do that anymore.
I've been cheated and lied to, thinking he had a right to be mine, yeah. But I know I'm not worthless, and like a ghost sailor, I'm gonna get moving on to try. Yeah, I'm moving on. Kick him out to the curb if you know what you're worth. It's better than nothing. Through passion or pain, through heaven or hurt, you gotta do something. You gotta start somewhere. Would you take me there with you? Even though I'll never know what you've been through, who you fought his spirit, who you ripped and torn. But you don't do that anymore. You don't do that
Kick him out to the curb if you know it's your worth. It's better than nothing. Through passion or pain, through heaven or hurt, you gotta do something, you gotta start somewhere. Would you take me there with you? Even though I'll never know what you've been through, who you fought hands bare, who you ripped and torn. But you don't do that anymore. You don't do that anymore.
All right. That again was Devin Huckstep.
Holy cow, that was
absolutely amazing artist. The song was Ghost Sailor. I know that was a newer EP that he put out, little 4-track, and that was back in 2020. Go check it out. He has a website with all that stuff on it as well.
You know what's crazy? I could hear that on 102.1. Like that's something that,
Oh,
like they
for
recently playing. Like it sounds great. It has like that blues indie.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's in our own state, right?
And again, I mean, just a musician to kind of start playing and kind of get started at that early age and continue to run with it and be as talented as he is. I mean, that is just an absolute cool story. I mean, definitely check this guy's catalog out, because I think you're going to be blown away, as we were by Ghost Sailor, which was kind of like that first jam that we heard. So now we have a wonderful beverage review for you. This one is Rock County Brewing Company, and it's the Keller Pills. Russ, why don't you tell us a little more about this guy?
I stopped on my way home. So if you're from Benton to Rock County, it's downtown Janesville. You can't miss it. It's right on the main street there. 5.5% ABV. We're drinking the Keller Pills today. It's a German-style Pilsner. It's super good. Has like some American hops featured in it, and you're getting... I mean, I'm getting a little bit a peppery taste, I think.
Yeah,
Is that what you're getting a little bit?
Yeah, the American hops that are used are Autumn and Triple Pearl. The Autumn definitely has more of that kind of peppery vibe to it. So,
You're getting a little bit of a fruity back finish, though. At least I am.
Yeah. Florally fruity. It's great.
Yeah, a little bit
honestly.
of lime honeydew-ish.
It's crazy.
Maybe, like Melanie, I guess, is what I would say.
Who's Melanie?
Melanie. Hey, Melanie. Oh, hey. So, but this one's really good. You know, it's great because it reminds me of that domestic. Because, you got the Pils, you got the Pils malt in there. So you're getting a little bit of that Pilsner. It's good. It could be one of those ones you could put on a tap as like a craft beer, but it would match a lot of the ones that are on the tap, right?
Yeah.
But you're getting a little, like, the hop varieties are a little different, so you're getting those extra notes to it.
These ones you don't typically see, which is really cool because it gives you a different taste and different notes in this beer than you would get on kind of other Pilsners. And again, this is a German Pilsner, so...
So I'm guessing
that might be pretty typical in those, but
right, and I guess
in American Pils is different.
A Pilsner malt, but you're also getting a little bit of hop in this one. Like a normal domestic, you're not getting much hop coming through. This one, you're getting a little bit of that pepperiness and that fruitiness, like we were talking about.
Yeah,
and
little pininess too from. Of course, it's it's not an IPA, so you're not going to be blown away with pine.
Right.
But what's neat is that, and we often will allude to this. But if you're not a craft beer drinker yet, but you're kind of looking to branch out, fucking give this thing a go because it's
pretty
literally
much the same. It's just a hint of hops.
It's the amazing beer to sort of test the water, if you will. Dip a toe in, and this is a great one to start with.
I agree, and I mean, most of these domestics are technically Pilsners. They're using a Pilsner malt, so you're not going to be like branching that far off, right? You're getting a little more hop flavor. We don't have anything to describe on the art, right? Because we got this in a growler today. We're drinking right out of a growler.
They just have their normal hop. It's a hop logo with some like wheat, tails coming out of the side.
But the thing I can tell you is this thing pours really golden. A little bit of haze to it. You're not seeing through completely, but that might just be because of how chilled it is.
Yeah.
But what does really look nice is the head on this sucker.
Oh, baby.
Holy smokes! Look at that head.
That's a good looking head.
Holy cow! That thing pours nice. It's
eyes and everything.
Nice and carbonated. It's just a great beer. Again, Rock County Brewing, Kelzer Pils. Go and check it out. They actually have it on tap right now. Grab a growler if you can. And John's a great person. I bought a lot of grains from that guy. A lot of our homebrews were from these guys.
They were a supplier of a lot of the raw materials.
Yeah, they own the They used to own the farmhouse brew supply, which we got a lot of our grains from to make our homebrews.
Yeah.
And John's a great person. Go and stop in and say hi. Get a growler of the Keller Pils, and
enjoy.
Grab a seat, gather round, join us for a chat. How many locos you at?
All right, folks, you know what that means. How many locos you at? Can I get a Ric Flair woo?
Woo!
Holy cow. Here we go.
Yeah, so this one's a special one. It was sent in actually by one of our listeners. He is Jace, and this one is less of an article and more of a Facebook, like one of the scanner.
I can't wait to hear
one of the Wisconsin County scanner pages.
Honestly.
And so this one, the original post made by the Lafayette Grant County, Wisconsin scanner page, wrote, OWI arrest in Lafayette County. Dispatch received several calls of a vehicle stopped in the middle of the road near the Highway 11 and 23 intersection.
Holy shit.
Driver was passed out in the vehicle, but in the middle of the road. Still in the road.
Jeez.
Drivable.
This guy's blackout
highway,
He's hit the blackout low.
Fuck. Later was updated by the same page. Wrote, at one point, the driver woke up and started driving again. Officers caught up to them on Highway 23
Holy shit.
and pulled them over kind of again, a third update was then posted.
No.
First offense. So
First offense, though.
I know.
That's not bad.
That's the one thing I think that throws this off a little bit.
It does. So you're talking, this is a
This
male,
is a
right?
newbie.
This is a male.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know male, female. We don't
It
know
doesn't tell
age.
you.
We
Okay,
don't
so there's
know
not a lot of info here, but
what kind of car.
this is a new drunk driver here.
Yeah.
This is like somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience with alcohol. So we
That's
might be on the
kinda
lower
my
low. We
suspicion.
might be on the lower loc level here.
Yeah,
I
we
was
don't
thinking
even know
16
if this.
plus, but honestly,
Yeah.
the fact that could you imagine bobbing your head in the middle of the intersection, and then you start driving again, rain.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit! I'm stopped in the middle of the road. I better
Holy
get
shit!
out
I'm
of
at
here.
11 and 23. I need to go home.
Oh shit! They're pulling me over. Yeah. It definitely makes you wonder the tolerance. So, like we just already have, we've questioned now the experience as far as boozing. You know, it doesn't seem like this individual is a very tenured drinker, if you will.
No, they're newbie.
Yeah,
For sure. Male, female,
So-
doesn't matter what you are. You're noob.
yeah. I sort of have a number. This is going to be. This is a shot. This is a shot in the dark. I'm just shooting a shot right here.
Yeah, it stinks because a lot of the papers take these up, but this one actually doesn't have an article to follow it, which is
I couldn't
crazy.
find an
yeah,
article.
there's an article to follow. So this is just reported as a DUI in the newspaper. So we don't have a lot of information here, but we know they're a noob drinker, probably younger.
And this was back only like July 10th is when this offense occurred. So in the morning
Summertime.
hours of July 10th, I'm going to say 4th of July Independence Day celebrations might still have been going on, celebrating Merca and stuff. So
They were straight up bald
rock,
eagles.
flag, and eagle, you know, just the normal stuff, stars and bars. Yeah, so like I said, I have a number. I don't really know how confident I am with it, but
I'm gonna go with mine too. I think I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a noob drinker now that I'm thinking about it, so I kind of think I have a good number. Do you want to go on 3?
yeah, I think damn.
I
I'm
hope
still
we're
trying
close.
to-
I hope we're close because this is a noob drinker though, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm going a little maybe lower than the 16 threshold.
I really am. I'm trying to curb my my expectations here because I want to say that this person's just blackout hammered.
This is a straight 20 for me.
but yeah,
but
to
it's
what
like-
level, you know? All right, on 3,
Sure.
we'll just go ahead and shout a number and we'll see where we're at. 1, 2, 3,
10.
4.
Okay, 10. I was thinking a little.
Yeah.
I don't know where to gauge this. Though,
I thought, hey, you know, this person dabbled with the old devil's juice here. They had one full can of Loco and found themselves just kind of hanging out, you know.
So you're thinking like that? Do you want to meet somewhere in the middle then? Maybe like what do you think is 6 or
I
7?
could go
maybe?
6.
We want to go 6.
My
so we can meet in the
original
middle.
thought was 6.
This is
I
a new drinker.
contemplated
This might be a
going-
teenager, a younger person with a
See, that's my
early
thing.
license.
I was about to say earlier, we don't even know that this person is of age. They usually don't disclose any of that right
I think
away.
this is an underage drinking party. To be honest with
That's
you,
kind of where my head was at, you know, out there. in-
graduation party, young kids hanging
Yeah.
out, drinking, heading home.
So I'm thinking, you know, I know we want this one to be a ridiculous off the charts thing,
For me, it'd be a 20
but
plus.
I don't know that it is.
It's not.
It
I
doesn't
think you're right.
It doesn't have all of the makings of wild shit. It does, however, have sort of newbie written on
So
it.
what are you thinking? 6 or 7 Loco?
I'm gonna say 6.
Let's go
I
6
think
Loco
6.
on this. I'll agree with you on this one.
Yeah.
We'll go 6 Loco. All right, today we're here with Grant from Three Sheeps in Sheboygan. Grant, how you doing?
Doing well, thanks. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to know a little bit about Three Sheeps. How did you guys get your start?
Sure. So we had a pretty good lucky start. You know, when we opened up 9 years ago, we took over an old brew pub that unfortunately for them went out of business. But we were able to get into a nice 10-barrel Sprinkman brew house system in the back of a bar. So, you know, for
Wow.
the first 5 years, we didn't have our own front of face. We didn't have our own tap room or anything like that. We were just a packaging brewery, and, you know, really got to kind of focus on that and hone those skills. And, you know, at 10 barrels, we were turning a lot of batches a year to kind of hit up our volume. So it was just a great chance to practice and experiment and, you know, figure out what kind of brewery we really want it to be. So yeah, it couldn't have worked out better.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good start for sure.
So we wanted to know, too, about the names. The name, Three Sheeps. Is it Three Sheeps to the Wind, huh?
So yeah, a little nod to Three Sheets to the Wind. Yeah, before the brewery, I was in construction, and especially it was during the recession where, you know, it was such an angry time for everybody. And
Yeah.
Whoever shouted the loudest usually won the argument. I had a wrench thrown in my head once by a vendor because he was angry. Yeah, it was just a weird time. And when I got out of that industry, I really just kind of wanted to shake off all that, that whole kind of attitude and environment. And we thought naming ourselves Three Sheeps, not a Three Sheeps to win, but also, a fluffy, grammatically incorrect animal is a really good way to never really take ourselves too seriously. We're serious about the beer, but we still appreciate that this is what we get to do for a living.
Right.
And it makes coming to work. There are fires, things like you get to do every day, but it's still beer. And it's awesome that our whole team kind of shares that same mentality because back in the day, no one grew up thinking they wanted to be a brewer or work at a brewery on sale, things like that. It just wasn't a career when we were younger, like it is today. So we all really don't want to fail to have to go back to our previous jobs.
Right. There is exactly. There is no better motivation than to just not want to go back to that corporate America or hard work and labor stuff.
I know where you're coming from on the construction. So I work as an engineer, and if you get a call or have to go to a job site, that person's angry in the first place, right? So
you're walking
into somebody just screaming at you. So
exactly right. Yeah. And again, that's not the entire industry. There are I still have some great friends from it, and but it was just, especially then, it was so stressful. And just happy to be making beer instead of concrete. Still manufacturing. I love manufacturing. But getting to do something people drink. Yeah. Nice.
I love it, and I can get behind it. I support it 100%.
and we're proud of you, Grant.
Yeah,
so keep it up.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
So we're gonna ask too. Is there any new beers we need to look out from Three Sheeps? I know we're huge Three Sheeps consumers, so I just wanted to check.
Well, Chaos Pattern, our newest year-round IPA. It's a hazy IPA, using a lot of fun hops, 6.5%. And that has just been so well received by people. It's becoming
awesome.
By year end, it'll be our number 2 behind Fresh Coast, and I could see it surpassing that in the future. It's just that that right flavor. It still has that velvety thing you want from a hazy.
Yeah.
But it's at a we were able to figure out how to do it using upgrading our centrifuges and different technology and different processes over the last year that we're able to do it at a $8.99, $9.99 6-pack. So you can still drink a good hazy. But it's not a $15. I like those as well, but I can't really drink that $15 6-pack or 4-pack every single night.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with
true.
that. So
and
then we were gonna ask with Three Sheeps, we're hoping to make it up there soon, and hopefully we can come do a little brewery tour with you guys. But is there any events that you recommend us go and check out, or the listeners check out?
Well, we're still in the process of figuring out how we want to get tours back up and running and going. Before COVID, we had a really nice tour that landed in this barrel area. That was great. But we've grown a lot in the last year and a half that we had to take over that area with production stuff. So we're just trying to make sure that we still have a great, interesting tour for people to do. So once those are back up and running, I'm excited to, get people back in the brewery, learn about the process. We always try to have our tours be a little bit technical, learn some history, some, funny, embarrassing things that we've been up to, sort of that, get to really know who we are during it. So it'll be nice to be able to reconnect on that level with our, our tour team and a small group. It's just a lot easier than, say, at a bar event or at a beer festival or, anything else that, that kind of close to one-on-one. That's really nice. And besides that, we're starting to do some outdoor music.
Awesome.
We have a stage that we're just putting up right now. We have our first show, I mentioned Sunday, so it'll be past. But we'll keep those going. And it should be nice. We have a huge outdoor, like 20,000 square feet, I think, grass space.
Oh, nice.
Patio out there. We have a tent that the city let us put up for the summer. So some good shade on those hot days. And it should be a pretty comfortable and fun spot to hang out this summer.
Awesome. So, Grant, before we go into the How Wisconsin segment, have you had a chance to surf some of the Boygan waves up there?
I have a couple times.
Awesome.
I am a terrible surfer, but I have some good friends who, one of our first team members, Dave, was out there religiously. And when he first joined up, he said, well, do you think that when the waves happen, do you think I can just go? Because he was such a big surfer, and it's such a rare, a treat to get those, 4 or 5 foot waves out of Sheboygan.
Yeah.
So for his first couple of years, his surfboard just lived at our brewery, and whenever the waves were there, if we could swing it, Dave was gone.
Well, Grant, if it makes you feel any better, I am not a great surfer, but I can longboard right into the the beach, and that's about it. So
Yeah.
Well, and it's so nice too. Like Sheboygan, with the waves kind of going sideways, you can walk out and jump in where the waves break, and then ride it all the way to shore. So as far as surfing goes, it's one of the easiest places to go. You don't have to try to get back out there yourself. You just have to deal with freezing water.
Yes, the temperature I don't think I could get over.
Yeah.
Yeah, there may be some shrinkage, but it's still decent waves, to be honest.
Chilly. It's chilly
You're not
out
going to
there.
impress anyone, but you can still ride some
You
boards
might.
in this.
If you pull some
It's
Kelly Slater
amazing what
moves.
those wetsuits do nowadays. Yeah.
You know what though?
But-
You could slip a Clemens sausage like we talked about in the last episode in your wetsuit, and you're all right. So, but all right. Before we let you go, we have about 8 questions to ask you. How Wisconsin are you? If you're willing to participate.
Of course. Let's see how this goes.
All right. So first one we got for you. Have you ever been to Summerfest? And do you have a memorable band that you saw there?
Yes, I have been to Summerfest, and oh man, it was like a throwback day where it was all the bands from like my high school and college days, and we just kind of kept bouncing around. It worked out really well. And I'm trying to think now. This was a few years ago. Well, I know one of the newer ones that was there, the Head in the Heart, was a
Okay.
headliner. We
Oh,
saw them
yeah,
for a while.
heck yeah.
They put on a good show. But then I think a Newfound Glory was playing.
Oh, nice.
Which was
One of my
which was
favorites.
funky. Yeah, it was great. I mean, pretty much everyone cheered for the old stuff, and they tried some new music that just didn't go over very well with folks.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
with all of us, like over 30s, just remembering the good old days.
Right.
But yeah, Summerfest is great. I'm glad it's back, and it'll be fun to see. I haven't even seen who they have playing this year, but I'm sure
Yeah.
it's going to be a good show.
Awesome. So the next one I got. Have you ever tailgated at a Brewers, Packers, or a Badgers game?
Yes, and I can tell you that if you don't go into the Brewers game by the 4th inning, they tell you have to leave the parking lot and get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the highlights of a Packer game is the pre-tailgate. Yeah.
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
I was just saying, like, I can never afford tickets to Packers games, but I'll go to tailgates once in a while and just party in the parking lot, right? I mean,
Well,
that's
back in the
experience.
day, yeah, when you could buy the $5 Bernie Bleachers tickets that they were
yeah.
standing room only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you tailgate, you just walk around the stadium. It's such a cool stadium because you can see well from anywhere. Yeah, it's a blast. And I especially love when you bring friends from out of town. And everyone you're done grilling and you just leave your grill until after the game.
Yeah.
And everyone's
Exactly.
floored that your grill is still there when you get back after the game.
Yep.
That's just Wisconsin nice,
That is.
So this is kind of a weird one. We kind of just came up with this one, but do you have a Quick Trip rewards card?
Of course. You have to. I mean, how else are you
Yeah.
going to get that cheap milk,
Oh, right. The
Yeah.
milk, the bananas,
If
like
you're-
the
yeah,
steak.
If you're not a rewards card holder, you're just leaving money on the table.
That's
And I gotta say, I have yet to try the steaks. I see those advertised all the time, and I just have trouble pulling the trigger on that. I'll get anything else
Yeah,
there.
I agree.
They're actually
I
not
would
that
love to-
bad. Surprisingly.
You have had them? Okay.
They're surprisingly they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. For the price though, they're pretty decent.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right.
I see the steaks, but I'm always lured in by their double cheeseburgers. So
Mhm.
The Angus mushroom Angus burger, holy smokes, that one
Oh,
gets me
anytime.
too.
And they're always sampling, and they always get me.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though they'll
Oh,
like
yeah.
quarter slice of pizza, and I'm coming in for a whole pizza.
yep,
Yeah.
they hooked me.
So this is always one of my anticipated questions, and I can't wait to hear. For beer brats, is there a beer you recommend from Three Sheeps to try? I mean, you don't want to waste a good beer, right? But a little bit to put in your boil.
Correct. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rebel Kent, our Amber Ale.
Perfect.
The
Ambers,
pills.
yeah.
Yeah, the pills is nice, but it's a little light. Rebel Kent uses the Belgian yeast, so it's a little sweeter, but also there's that rye spice, and I think that spice does translate through on a good boil. So, yeah, I think if you're gonna use light beer, whether you use pills or a macro light, you're not gonna tell much of a difference. But I think the Amber does it. I've tried Cashmere Hammer, Nitro Stout, and that's just not great for my taste.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think an Amber is a great one to go with.
Perfect. And then we won't keep it too much longer. We got one more for you today.
Sure.
Other than Three Sheeps, is there another brewery tour that you recommend our listeners go and check out? And it doesn't have to be in the area. It can be even in another state, another country, whatever.
Sure. Well, I can tell you the one that, of course, Lakefront. I'm sure everyone says that their tours are amazing.
Oh, I
but
love that
for
one,
me,
yeah.
the big one for me was Schlafly, down in St. Louis.
Okay.
It was one I went on about 12 years ago, and it was a really cool technical tour. They walked you through everything. You kind of got to feel the culture and everything about it. And that was actually the tour that I decided, hey, maybe I should start a brewery. This looks pretty awesome. Their beers are great. They have so much more there than we can get in Wisconsin. And yeah, it's just a nice one. So there you go.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Grant. Thank you so much for your time on this Sunday. I know Sundays are kind of sacred, and we really appreciate the 10 minutes you gave us. And we can't wait to make our way up there and actually come and say hey and drop some koozies off and maybe have a beer or two.
Good. Yeah, please do. Let me know when you guys get down here. I'd love to grab a pint.
Sounds good, Grant. You take it easy.
Have a good rest of your Sunday.
Thanks,
you too.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, we have another review. We wanted to just kind of give a little shout out to the person who gave us this 5-star review on Apple Podcast. We love these things, right? I mean, they're huge for us. Helps the algorithms that be.
Absolutely. So this one is from Georgia Girl in a Wisco World, titled Wisconsin Proud. She writes, I have been in Wisconsin only a year and a half, but it's podcasts like this that make me feel proud for living here. I have gotten to know so much about Wisconsin's history, its culture, and its craft brewing and music scene from Russ and Eric. They do their research really well and always find ways to surprise us with Wisconsin historical facts. I especially enjoy the How Many Locos You At segment, and it's hilarious to hear all of the shenanigans of fellow Wisconsinites. The music section and the brew reviews are also very informative, and I always learn something new. Highly recommend this podcast for all new and old Wisconsin residents and Wisco curious people alike.
I'm Wisco curious, baby. I do some stuff on the side.
I'm Wisco and Frisco, baby.
Yeah. But no, thank you so much. Honestly, that's huge. I mean, the 5-star review is just massive, and I love reviews like that, right? I mean, my ego is kind of going up right now. I think I need to drink up more beers and shut it down.
I have to put my hat on a different notch. My head's getting so big. But yeah, again, for the few minutes that you spend on this 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, it does so much for us that it's hard to really put a value on it. It is something that, if everyone listening to this at this moment could jump on and rate, like, subscribe, review, and all that stuff on all of the platforms, regardless if you listen. Go to YouTube, subscribe to us, even if you don't listen there. It would really help.
And the ones that give us bad reviews, like, I'm okay with it. Like, I know Eric is too. Like, we just want to know what we could do to make the podcast better. Like, that's the whole thing about the reviews, right? You can't just put 1 star and bail, right? Put 1 star and say why you hate us, right? Yeah. I mean, we just want to know for our own sake to make the show better.
Why you hate me?
Hey, Tommy, hey, I'm crying over here. But no, it is what it is, and like you can just tell us, like, what are we doing that could make the podcast better, or what offended you that would make you do that?
If you just think there were a bunch of drunk bozos, you should write that.
That's cool. Yeah, you guys are a bunch of drunk dicks.
That's a term of endearment for me.
We don't really like you. You're a bunch of drunk dicks, but that's just it. Like, that's the whole thing. Is like, we want this podcast to be like all inclusive for all Wisconsin residents to come in, listen, learn something about Wisconsin, have a couple beers, learn. Maybe we can support some of the local businesses around here. That's all we're trying to do, right? Yeah. And whatever, 1 or 2 stars, you do what you want.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for that 5-star review, Georgia Girl. We love it. Thank you.
All right, that concludes this episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast.
If you enjoyed this vulgar display of Wisconsin, please like and subscribe on whatever streaming platform you prefer. And remember to hit the bell on YouTube to be notified when we release new content.
Also, if you have any suggestions or ideas for future episodes, please send us an email at widrunkenhistory@gmail.com or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Thanks again for listening, and remember, as always,
watch out for deer on your way home.